Hi, everyone. Craig Stevenson here from ACTIONETIX. And today we're going to talk about our number one selling sports supplement, HemoAde. HemoAde is an advanced blood flow catalyst for action sports and endurance athletes and was originally designed to help alleviate a condition called arm pump, which so many action sports athletes suffer from. You'll also see in this presentation the benefits for endurance athletes, as many marathon runners, triathletes, and mountain bikers have adopted HemoAid into their programs to help improve their overall performance. Number one question we get is, what is HemoAid? And simple answer is HemoAid is a scientifically validated sports supplement to help improve blood flow through extremities, that being your hands and fingers in particular, decrease arm pump, which we talked about on the last slide, also to decrease muscle cramps. And you're going to see that there is a monographed ingredient in the formula. It's monographed by the World Health Organization to alleviate muscle cramps. It is also designed to support an increase in VO2 max. That's the maximum amount of oxygen that your muscles can consume and process at any given time. The formula is also there to increase the size and number of red blood cells. That's important for obvious reasons, because red blood cells attach to oxygen and transport it to the hardworking muscles. And ultimately, HemoAid will help improve overall endurance, performance, and recovery. Recovery being one of the biggest issues in sports. The faster and more completely you can recover, you're ready to go sooner and at a higher level for your next competition or your next training. So what's in HemoAid? HemoAid is a combination of potent herbs and vitamins. The lead ingredient, which is an herb, is called NSKSD, and it's an extract of the nattokinase plant. And it has been subject to multiple human clinical studies, some of which you'll see later in this presentation. And that is backed up by the ingredient we talked about on the previous slide called cramp bark. Again, cramp bark is monographed by the World Health Organization to decrease the frequency and severity of muscle cramps. White willow bark is also in this formula. It's a natural form of aspirin, if you will. Helps to decrease the viscosity of the blood that's flowing through your body. Ginger root, very similar throughout history. There's significant use and studies on ginger root, decreasing the viscosity of blood and allowing for increased blood flow. Transresveratrol is also in that category. And all of this is wrapped up in vegetarian capsules so that pretty much every athlete out there, regardless of their nutrition requirements, can use HemoAid. So how do I take HemoAid? It's very simple. Adults take 2 veggie capsules with a large glass of water. We recommend around 16 ounces before your first meal of the day. You want to repeat this daily, whether you're training or competing or not. And you'll see why later in the presentation. Some of the studies are done over an 8-week period. And so daily use of this especially during a competitive season, is required and recommended. And of course, read the entire label before use and follow all label directions. So who should use HemoAid? Well, we talked about the athletes that suffer from arm pump. That's the number one athlete or category of athletes that can benefit from HemoAid. Athletes and others that want to prevent muscle cramps. So that's a very popular issue or item in the formula, because many times when you're sweating and you're decreasing the amount of fluid in your body, muscle cramps, etc., happen. So, out on the course or on the track, when you're sweating, decreasing the amount of volume of blood and water in your system, you want to prevent muscle cramps as well as alleviate that condition called arm pump. And any athletes wanting to improve their VO2 max, that's very important. Any athlete from hockey to motocross to mid-range running, You'll want to maximize the volume of oxygen that your muscles can process. And then athletes that want to deliver more oxygen to their muscles in general. So, for instance, a triathlete or long distance runner will not always be at a VO2 max during their race or during their training. However, you want to deliver as much oxygen to your hardworking muscles as possible. It's just a very sound principle. The more oxygen, the better the muscles can function. And then ultimately, when you look at this, it really is any athlete wanting to improve overall performance. So moving on, we always get asked, is there any science behind HemoAde? And the resounding response is yes. Here's one study on the key ingredient or the core ingredient in HemoAde that shows a significant amount of blood flow increase through the hands and fingers. And anywhere where you see red, dark reds, dark blues, so on and so forth, that is signaling an increase in blood flow. And the study was done where half the group took the core ingredient in HemoAde and the other half took a placebo, which should have really no effect on blood flow. Down in the bottom right, you can see a massive increase in blood flow through the hands and fingers after they have consumed the core ingredient in HemoAde. The significance of that is it allows a lot more blood to go through the hands and fingers, which ultimately prevents it from pooling up in the forearms, causing that condition called arm pump. Now, for endurance athletes, the easier the blood flows, the more oxygen you will get to your hardworking muscles. And that is ultimately important in athletics. Second study that was done was a study on blood pressure over 8 weeks. And again, a large human study in this category where the nattokinase or the core ingredient in HemoAde was compared to a placebo. The people that took the NSKSD, the core ingredient in HemoAde, saw a dramatic decrease and statistically significant decrease in blood pressure. And these results were actually on both systolic, when your blood or your heart is pushing blood out, and diastolic, where your heart is relaxed, blood pressure. So the systolic blood pressure, the top number on this group of participants, went from 145 down to approximately 130. Very significant and very significantly different than the placebo group. And the diastolic blood pressure, which in my opinion is the most important, dropped from an average of 95 to the high 80s. Okay. So what that means to athletes and others is that there's less pressure coming when the blood is flowing through the body. It means it's flowing through easier and can ultimately carry more oxygen to your hardworking muscles without resistance, what we call vascular resistance. Okay. So these are just a couple of the studies that have been done on ingredients, et cetera, in HemoAde, but I thought they were the most important so that people understand how this helps you change how your blood flows and how it delivers oxygen and other nutrients to your hardworking muscles. So the last question that we always get is, where can I get HemoAde and other ACTIONETIX sports supplements? So on Amazon, we have a full store. It's amazon.com/actionetics, and that will take you to all our products. And then if you go to actionetics.com, you can obviously hit the shop button and you will see the drop down for HemoAde there. Very simple. Everything's a secure site. If you're an Amazon Prime member, of course, you get free shipping. On ACTIONETIX, many times we'll have specials on there for you. And that is the conclusion of this. Feel free to like, comment, and we hope to see you out on the track and out on the course.